Here are 5 things you're probably doing that aren't making you any money. I work with a lot of young entrepreneurs and I see them wasting a lot of time doing these activities that just don't move the needle.
Shout out to Steve Trang.
If you're new to this channel, I'm Steve Trang, nationally recognized sales trainer, real estate wholesaler and flipper, podcaster, YouTuber. I own a brokerage, a title company, houses, apartments, and I own a bank. The first thing I'm going to mention is one of the most common. We see this all the time, and that's the website. We see so many people always trying to build their website, perfecting their website, getting everything pretty, getting the font, everything perfect. And the reality is none of that matters until you're actually in business. When I first started this business 15 years ago, there was a guy, not going to say his name here, but instead of referring to him by his first name, we always called him his first name and last name.com, because literally that's all he did every day for months. And we actually looked up his website last week, and he's not in business anymore. Now, I'm not saying websites are not important. They are a part of your brand, but when you're first getting started, you don't need a website. The second thing I always see is, what kind of business structure should I have? Should it be an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp? What should I do? And the answer is, nothing matters until you're actually doing business. An LLC is there for 2 reasons. First, to protect you from getting sued, and for tax benefits, both of which doesn't matter until you're actually in business. Now, I've done thousands of transactions, and I've been sued 5, maybe 6 times. So getting sued is really the exception, not the rule. You do not want to start your business worry about whether you can get sued or not. You should start off your business worried about whether you can get deals or not. The other thing that I see happen a lot is branding. What should be my company name? What about logo? What about business cards? Or maybe I need to make sure I get this domain. And again, these are things that don't move the needle. Is branding important? Again, absolutely. You want to build a reputable brand, but your first focus should be getting out there and letting people know that your name is buying houses, not your company. The fourth thing I see is kind of the getting ready to get ready, planning to plan. You see this when people are going into Facebook groups and they're just reading up, or just binging a bunch of YouTube content. Now, I'm a YouTuber. I appreciate that. But you can't just only consume YouTube content. You got to get out there and make a mess. You got to apply whatever it is you're learning, because that's the only way to really cement your knowledge. There's learning, there's doing, and as you're doing, it's going to cement your knowledge. You have greater clarity and understanding of what it is you've been binging the last few weeks. Now is probably not the best time to tell you, but please go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. And the last thing they do is they want to get all their finances ready and perfect. They want to make sure this is the right time to jump. And what I'll share with you is there's no right time to take a leap. There's no right time to get married. There's no right time to get a job. There's no right time to start a career. Really, don't wait for the finances to be perfect. Just jump in and figure it out. That's what most successful entrepreneurs do. Now, bear in mind, I do come from a real estate background, so maybe not all this applies to you, but I would argue most of it does. Maybe you're in e-commerce. Of course you need a website, right? But your website doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be completely optimized in every way possible. You just start with a website and see if you can get some transactions out of it. Then, after you start doing transactions, optimize everything else. What if you're a hairstylist? Well, don't you need a website? No, you don't. All you need is to build your own personal brand. It's to build a reputation. Start cutting hair. Get people recommending you. You should be out there creating a track record, building a reputation, and then worry about the LLCs and the websites and everything else. I've had the good fortune to be surrounded by incredibly successful people. And what they all did was they went out there and made a mess. They went out there and started buying houses, selling houses, jumped right into their business instead of worrying about these other details that can always be fixed and cleaned up way later. There's an expression that we make where we're basically jumping off a cliff and building a plane on the way down. Now that might sound crazy, but that's kind of how we live our lives. Here's the way I've described building my business in the past. Now, if you were to build a dam, the right way to do it is to shut off the water, drain everything, get structural permits, get really smart guys out there building the dam the right way. What would I do? I would go out there with a bunch of boulders, pour it down there, figure out where it's leaking, plug those leaks, find out where there's more leaks, and plug those leaks. That's really the life of an entrepreneur. Ultimately, taking action is way more important than preparing. What are some business ideas that you guys are launching? I'd be curious to find out. Comment below.